Well, let's move on and let's go on to the other big conversation point we have here tonight, viewers, and we're going to talk about the guidelines that the Election Commission has now issued for holding elections, for holding polls in the middle of a pandemic. Largely, these are the COVID guidelines that we have for when elections are held while the pandemic is still on, what should be done. Now, let me take you through some of the key highlights that we have. For example, at the time of the nomination, only 2 people can accompany the candidate at that point. For example, and this is the most important for you if you're going to be a voter, if there are going to be any elections in your state, especially if you are in Bihar, if you have COVID symptoms and you've given your test, you're waiting for the test results, or you are COVID positive, you have the option of using postal ballot. You don't have to go to the polling station to cast your vote. Or if the date for the postal ballot has already gone by and then you realize that you have COVID or then you contract COVID, then the EC says you can register, get a token and come to the polling station in the last 1 hour and cast your vote. There will be health experts who will be there to ensure PPE kits, gloves, sanitizers, masks, everything is followed and due precautions are taken, and then you can go and cast your vote. So there is a postal ballot option for COVID suspects, those who are in quarantine, and then a last minute option. But I am a bit confused about this last minute option, and we will talk about it, because is it all right for us to ask people who may have COVID to actually step out of their homes? Are we exposing them and others? Are we exposing others who may be at that polling station towards coronavirus? Few of the other highlights that we have: gloves to voters at the time of signing register and pressing the EVM button. Maximum 1,000 voters can vote at one polling station against the earlier limit of 1,500. Voters will have to wear face masks that can only be removed briefly for your identification. Quarantine COVID patients can vote during the last hour of polls. Thermal checking at every polling station at the entrance. Postal ballot to electors above the age of 80 years. Postal ballot for those who are disabled and for those who are in notified essential services. So these are some of the interesting decisions that have been made. But we're going to be talking about this simply from the point of view that the first big election in our country during this pandemic will be in Bihar. Now, what are the challenges there? Bihar is still seeing about 2,900, 3,000 cases on a daily basis. There has been a sharp rise in cases after the state unlocked, after we actually saw interstate travel and reverse migration. The healthcare system, which is abysmal in that state and has been so for decades, is now already overburdened. COVID norms implementation is still a challenge. Rallies, local sabhas, door-to-door campaign, experts say may become a risk. We'll go into the details of what the EC guidelines say. Queues at polling stations will be a risk, and of course the additional burden that we feel on the administration, on the security personnel, because you will need a lot more of that on the ground for this implementation. Without wasting any further time, let's say good evening to Mr. Shailesh Gandhi, former Chief Information Officer, joining me this evening. Mr. T.S. Krishnamurthy, former CEC, is well with us this evening. Thank you so much. Aishwarya Mahadev of the Congress Party, Rajiv Ranjan of the JDU, and Manoj Jha of the RJD joining us this evening. Mr. Manoj Jha, let's begin with you, because your party has been opposing, very skeptical about holding elections in such a time. What is your own sense of the EC rules that have now been issued?
Thank you so very much for holding a discussion on this. When we made our representation to Election Commission, we know the Election Commission is a statutory body, independent, autonomous. We just shared some of important concerns, including that how Corona and floods. Corona tells you that physical distance is important. Floods take away that very idea of physical distance. We made certain requests, certain observation, certain appeal to the Honorable Election Commission. Honorable Election Commission under Article 324 is supposed to conduct free and fair election. If you look at the sub-clauses, it means wholesome participation. I don't know how Election Commission has because if I have read the guideline, it is in front of me. The guideline actually does not touch base with the critical socio-economic reality of Bihar. Number one, what I say this, from 1,500 to 1,000, they have said about polling stations. We made a request that each polling station should not have more than 250 people voting, because you yourself say in point 10, subclause 7. Subclause 7 says 6 feet. If you look at 6 feet, people have to wear gloves. And in Delhi also, we know when you put on gloves, it takes some time. So I would request Election Commission to factor in all these things. Second, Election Commission probably does not realize that holding election cannot be a ritual. Under Article 324, I repeat, it has to be a wholesome participation. And I'm worried that if the voting percentage, voter participation is 25-30%, what kind of boasting we shall do? Just to take care of a ritual, or ensuring optimum, maximum participation? And finally, in my initial observation, I must tell you that there is a talk of ensuring health insurance for polling officials, security personnel. Why not even for the voters, so that the kind of fear we have in Bihar? I'm worried because if you look at the campaigning style, it tells you that there shall be huge disconnect between the voters and the leaders, between the electors and the ones who wish to be elected. I don't think, because large number of points which I have seen in the guideline appear that they have taken some other country in mind, some other geographical entity, not Bihar. And finally, just to close my observation, that you know what happens, that when in one point you say persons with disability shall be provided with postal ballot, at another point you say persons with disability will have a separate queues. I think these are anomalies. I don't consider that the Election Commission has looked at the anomalies which appear. It is ambiguous on very many issues. What we wanted, a clear-cut, black and white sphere about it, looking at the fact that today Bihar
but
has...
when they are giving you the option, Mr. Manoj,
Yes.
Mr. Manoj, when you are being given the option that if you are in quarantine, if you are in essential services, if you are a COVID patient or a COVID suspect, if you are above the age of 80, if you are disabled, then you can use postal ballot. तो इससे प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व नहीं हो जाती? जो आप कह रहे हैं कि सब नहीं आ पाएंगे पोलिंग स्टेशन, क्या इससे मदद नहीं मिलेगी?
No, please let me tell you. I am a non-COVID. I am not positive. I reach polling station, and polling station becomes a site of super. The possibility. I wish I'm wrong. The possibility of happening as a super spreader event. There is any mechanism? Why can't you ensure voters also the way you plan to ensure polling personnel and even security personnel? And finally, I must tell you that election, please understand, it cannot be a ritual to be done away with. It has to ensure. Can you and me tomorrow talk about it and say that the voting percentage was 25%, 30%, almost akin to what happens in Jammu and Kashmir? If you call it Loktantra ka Mahotsav ya Utsav, you cannot have barriers. You cannot have these mechanisms. I'm just worried as a citizen.
Okay. Valid point. What do we do about the concern, the fear people may have in minds, and they may not want to step out, and then thereby you lose out on so many voters as well. Thank you Manoj for speaking with us. मुझे मालूम है कि आपकी बहुत important meeting चल रही थी और हमने आपको उसमें से बाहर निकाला ये question conversation के लिए. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Rajiv Ranjan, good evening to you. What is your own view? Thank you so much. Mr. Rajiv Ranjan, your view on the guidelines that have emerged.
ये 16 पेजेस के जो गाइडलाइंस हैं, इसमें इलेक्शन में कैंडिडेट्स कैसे ऑनलाइन नॉमिनेशन करेंगे, हॉल्स कितने बड़े होने चाहिए, कैंडिडेट्स के लिए वेटिंग हॉल कैसा होना चाहिए, जो सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग को लेकर के गाइडलाइंस हैं उनका पालन करने की बाध्यता होगी। साथ ही साथ जिस तरह से ग्लव्स, सैनिटाइजर्स और तमाम वो चीजें जिससे कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा संक्रमण के खिलाफ सतर्कता के साथ हम काम कर सकें और वोट भी कर सकें, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि कोविड-19 के इस दौर में बिहार पहला राज्य है जहां चुनाव होने जा रहे हैं। और जो तैयारियां हैं, राजद जैसी पार्टियों को हर सवाल पर कोई ना कोई बहाना ढूंढने की आदत हो गई है। अगर आप बाढ़ के दौरान देखेंगी, तेजस्वी यादव जिस समय दरभंगा गए थे, उनके साथ गाड़ियों का हुजूम था और वो सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग का किस तरह से पालन कर रहे थे, किस तरह से भीड़ के साथ फोटोग्राफर्स और कैमरामैन उनके साथ वहां दिख रहे थे और आम लोग भी भीड़ में काफी बड़ी संख्या में थे। कई ऐसे ओकेजन्स हैं, पीएमसीएच एक विटनेस से मिलने के लिए गए गोपालगंज के मामले को लेकर के, वहां फ्लैश लाइट्स चमकते रहे और सैकड़ों लोग वहां जमा थे। इसके पहले गोपालगंज मार्च के लिए उसी तरह की भीड़ के साथ हो गए। सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग को लेकर के जिस तरह से उपहास उन्होंने उड़ाने का काम अलग अलग अवसरों पर किया, उससे बिल्कुल साफ है कि कहीं सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग या कोरोना के संक्रमण को बढ़ने से लेकर जो खतरों की बात वो बार बार कहते हैं, उससे ज्यादा चुनाव में एक बड़े पराजय की ओर उनकी पार्टी बढ़ रही है। वो भय ज्यादा उन्हें परेशान कर रहा है और इसीलिए वो लगातार बहाने ढूंढ रहे हैं। अभी लगभग 3 महीने चुनाव में बाकी है और वर्चुअल प्लेटफॉर्म पर सभी पार्टियां अपना काम कर रही हैं। नॉमिनेशन ऑनलाइन होना है और तमाम प्रक्रियाओं को लेकर के इलेक्शन कमीशन ने काफी एक्सप्लिसिट सुस्पष्ट गाइडलाइंस दे दिए हैं। अगर इसके बाद किसी गाइडलाइन को लेकर के कोई कंफ्यूजन है, तो इलेक्शन कमीशन में जो भी पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज के रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स हैं, उनको अमेंड करने के लिए अपनी बात कह सकते हैं। अगर जो फिजिकली चैलेंज लोगों को लेकर जो चीजें भी मनोज झा जी ने कही, अगर वो कठिनाई आती है तो उसको क्लैरिफाई कराया जा सकता है। लेकिन चुनाव को लेकर के राजद को सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग का डर नहीं है, ये कोरोना का डर नहीं है और न फ्लड को लेकर बिहार में अब वो चिंता की स्थिति है, नदियों का पानी कम हो रहा है और जो परिस्थितियां हैं उसमें आप देखेंगी आने वाले समय में जो कुछ बेहतर से बेहतर किया जा सकता है कि एसओपी के जरिए जो भी स्टैंडर्ड ऑपरेटिंग प्रोसीजर बाढ़ के पहले
नहीं, मैं वो तो आपसे आपकी बात मानती हूँ कि तब तक जी जो बाढ़ का जो चैलेंज है वो शायद तब तक तो थोड़ा कम हो जाएगा, लेकिन लोगों के मन में अगर कोविड का वो भय है और उनको एक जगह से दूसरी जगह पोलिंग स्टेशन तक आना है, कैसे आएंगे, वो कैसे ट्रैवल करेंगे, वो चैलेंजेस जो हैं उसका एक कॉन्वर्जेशन, उसका एक डिबेट है यहाँ। एंड कांग्रेस पार्टी इज इन फैक्ट रेज दिस इशू। ऐश्वर्या, why does the Congress party believe that this will not lead to a free and fair election?
Tanvi, at the outset of it, I believe free and fair elections should also have the independence of a free mind or a mind without fear to go to elections. And I think that is very critical. Before I answer, also talk about what Mr. Ranjan has said. You know, Bihar right now is inching towards 1.5 lakh cases. They have a deluge where 16 out of 38 districts have been severely affected, almost displacing 83 lakh people. And you believe that elections at this time are something that are essential? I believe absolutely not. Free and fair elections in themselves also require enough preparation if you want to have an election in a pandemic. Tanvi, let me give you an example. I come from a small constituency of 300 booths. If 300 booths have 1,500 people and I now have to reduce it to 1,000, which is still a large number, I have to accommodate for creating more booths and more places. Imagine doing this for a state of 10 crore people. I believe not only feasibility but reasonability is something that the Election Commission seems to have forgotten. But more importantly, I think, how on earth could you coerce a man to make a trade-off between his health and exercising his franchise? I must admit that democracy is a festival. I mean, elections are a festival of democracy, and democracy does require elections. But democracy also requires the politicians to take care of the state before and try to stabilize the situation rather than pushing them into polls. And Mr. Ranjan spoke about it from the angle of, oh no, it is a Tejasvi Yadav, it is a Bihar issue. I don't believe that is what is critical. At a time when voters of a state are suffering from a pandemic and also floods, pushing an election upon them is not only morally reprehensible, and I also want to ask how political parties, on what plank are they going to go ask for even votes? You owe more to the people than just asking for their vote. This is the time you work to rebuild a state, Tanvi. This is not the time you go to create a new government. And as confident as the JDU spokesperson is, his own partner in the coalition, Mr. Chirag Paswan, has said he wants the elections postponed. And another essential fact I want to talk to you about is this idea of virtual rallies are massively disadvantageous to smaller local regional parties. It becomes an election of just money, power, and capability and technology, and that is not what democracy is. Democracy to the heart of this country are door-to-door campaigns, are rallies of people, and it is a festival in itself when you see how participatory it can be. And if you believe, and the election commission believes, you can put it onto a screen and you can have a lack of LEDs, I think their conception of what democracy in a country like India is itself flawed, Tanvi. And I really hope that they do think and are wiser than this and come out and think of a better solution rather than push a state into election while they're already suffering with the pandemic and floods.
Okay, so the guidelines for nomination mean the candidates have been given the option of filing the nomination online, paying the deposit online. If you intend to do door-to-door campaign, you can only have 5 people, including the candidate, excluding the security if the candidate has any, but just 5 people. And door-to-door campaign can be done. If you're holding a road show, only 5 vehicles will be permitted as part of the convoy, and a 100-meter distance has to be maintained between 2 different convoys. Usually there are about 10 cars allowed in this kind of a convoy. Now it has been halved. Election meetings and rallies. Rallies will be subject to COVID-19 guidelines. District officers will have to identify the rally grounds and mark it for social distancing. Nodal health officer will have to be present there to ensure that the norms are followed. Number of attendees will be as per the prescribed limit. More number of polling stations, less number of people in each polling station. Mr. Shailesh Gandhi, does this sound like something we will be able to implement in Bihar in just a couple of months?
The issue really is, yes, COVID is something we've never seen before. In the last 1 century, we didn't have an experience like this. Nobody could have forecast something like this. On the other hand, should other activities continue or should they be stopped? And this is the normal balance which everybody is trying to find. And it's a difficult task. I am not saying there's a perfect answer. But looking at what the Election Commission is proposing, I think they've made a fairly decent effort at trying to meet various kinds of issues that may come up. Their guideline saying that postal ballots should be accepted, I think is a good guideline. And making arrangements for sanitizing, gloves, masks, all this, they seem to have taken care, at least on paper. I concede, nobody knows how long will the COVID crisis remain. Will it be 3 months? Will it be 6 months? Will it be a year? Nobody knows. So what are those who are opposing this proposing? That we indefinitely postpone the elections. I think it would be good for the ruling party to do that. There can be some issues, like Mr. Manoj Jha said, for which perhaps the Election Commission should sit. And I believe this is an exercise that should be conducted. The Election Commission should sit with all the political parties and see if they can address some of these issues. Also, if there is a consensus, maybe the election may be postponed by a month or 2, but elections will have to be held. And I think the Election Commission is doing a very good job, and it is necessary that everyone cooperate and understand that we do not know how long the COVID crisis will remain. Therefore, to say that we will not have elections does not seem to be a valid option to me.
Okay, I will take that point across to Aishwarya in just a bit, but let me first go across to Mr. Krishnamurthy. We were trying to get through to him, but had a bit of a technical problem. He's on the phone line with me, former Chief Election Commissioner, Mr. Krishnamurthy. Thank you for joining us. To your mind, what will be the big challenges for the Election Commission to hold elections in the middle of a pandemic, and especially in a state like Bihar, which does struggle with the healthcare infrastructure any which ways?
I do agree that it is going to be the biggest challenge to the Election Commission. But you cannot take a view that just because the COVID is there, you have to indefinitely postpone the election. If you know that it is going to be within a month's time, you can certainly postpone the election. But if it is going to be indefinitely prolonging, the best way is to go ahead, because there are countries like Sri Lanka, countries like South Korea, other countries in Europe, they have been holding their elections. It is not that they have not been holding. I do agree there will be some challenges, not only for the Election Commission, but also for the political parties and candidates. My own suggestion would be, if the Election Commission has to take a judgment, go to the place, look at the ground realities and take a view whether it can be held or not. We have held elections in Kashmir, where violence was looming large everywhere. We have held elections in places where riots have taken place. So the Election Commission has to make an impartial study, investigation, and come to a conclusion. Also, they can segregate some of the constituencies where it is very badly affected and go ahead with the election for the remaining constituencies. Those which have been postponed can be conducted later. But it is always a good practice to conduct the elections as early as possible. And if the level playing field is available to all the political parties, I see no reason why there should not be elections to be conducted with certain safeguards. The guidelines seem to be reasonably well drafted. Yeah.
Yes, my the other question was, because I find this one of the most important parts is to how to ensure that everybody gets a chance to vote. You cannot have a situation where you're taking away, the opportunity for any citizen to be able to vote. Now, in the norms, Election Commission says that if you are a COVID patient or a COVID suspect who's waiting for the test results, then or you are already mandatorily quarantined, then you have the option of postal ballots. But if the postal ballot date is come and gone and you've not done that, then you can come to the polling station in the last 1 hour under supervision of the health department officials and cast your vote. Now, if this, which to my mind is a very risky option, Mr. Krishnamurthy, if you're saying that COVID patients can come to the polling station and cast their vote, then why have the postal ballot option available at all? And is this option of coming out a little risky?
Yes, it is risky. There is no doubt about that. But at the same time, you have to realize they have given an option to exercise the postal ballot. But the Election Commission is duty bound to ensure that the postal ballot is properly implemented. Nobody should be left out. And they have to ensure that all of them get the postal ballot and they are all counted at the right time. But it doesn't mean that, they are expecting every COVID patient to come to the polling booth. If the COVID patient is well advised, he can certainly exercise the postal ballot. He is not compelled to come to the polling station. So there is a risk, but at the same time, you have to carry on with your constitutional responsibility. You can't be postponing it without any time limit.
Okay, let me take that point back to Aishwarya. Aishwarya, here are two experts who are both saying that not holding elections isn't the right way to go. And how long will you postpone it? The situation may not really change for a year.
Tanvi, this is also, I will accede to the wisdom of people who have held the high post. But looking at what the government is saying, going by their own argument, where their ministers and even the Prime Minister are saying COVID is well, under control and we should pass the worst of it in the next 2-3 months. I don't see the hurry as to why they want to push us into elections right now. Why don't we wait it out? One, because I think, there's a massive inconsistency in the government's stand about COVID as a whole, and then their desperation and urgency to push people into election. And second of all, Tanvi, at the end of it, you also have to realize Bihar, much like a lot of other states, is absolutely rural. It is also where the Election Commission can try to have as many elections as it has, but their polling numbers have always been, compared to the national average, much lower. And more than that, this is like giving an option for a lot of people to not go out and vote. I think to exercise your franchise is an absolute right that you have, and you're constitutionally entitled to it if you're allowed adult franchise and not disqualified. But this is almost coercing them to make that choice. We're saying don't force them to make that choice. wait it out a little longer. And I'll tell you, a lot of places, Karnataka has dissolved all your Gram Panchayats elections that were scheduled and handed it over to authorities, where the district and the taluk administration is looking after what administration is happening, and the political incumbents are waiting for their election, but they also continue to work. If you find that you cannot allow these MLAs to continue beyond 5 years, that is also a measure you can have. It is not like elections have always been conducted on date. It is not like elections have to be conducted on date. When you have vitiating factors or fundamental change in circumstance, the Election Commission has been known to be accommodating of it. And the Congress also has put out a statement just now talking about how its concerns haven't been addressed, whether about the lack of distinction between rural and urban voting constituencies, the idea of not using an EVM in itself because of the danger of contact, and also trying to say that there's an abuse, a possibility of abuse of power, because the Disaster Management Act and the Indian Penal Code also apply there, which gives an incumbent government carte blanche power over what is right and wrong in this election. So you realize that the misuse possibilities are higher. I think free and fair elections by those arguments are also vitiated, and a few more months, much like a lot of things, especially because elections are where so many people come together. I think it is only fair that we try and think about the Election Commission listening to political parties once again and their concerns, and also thinking about the possibility of pushing this further, at least until the deluge ceases and we can see people's lives returning to normal, Tanvi.
Okay, very quickly, I have one more question and maybe Mr. Rajiv Ranjan and then Mr. Krishnamurthy can come on. And Mr. Rajiv Ranjan, एक जो बड़ी प्रॉब्लम ये होगी कि हम मार्च के महीने से लोगों को बोल रहे हैं बाहर मत निकलिए, दूर रहिए, प्रिकॉशंस लीजिए, पब्लिक जगह पे नहीं आइए, पब्लिक गैदरिंग नहीं करिए. अब अगर हम कहने लगे कि जो लोकल सभाएं लगती हैं इलेक्शंस की उसमें अटेंड करिए या वोटिंग के लिए बाहर निकलिए, तो ये कैसे अब लोगों को कन्विंस किया जाएगा कि ये सेफली किया जा सकता है कि अगर आप वोट करने बाहर आए तो आप डरे ना कोविड के खतरे को लेकर?
देखिए तन्वी, सबसे पहली बात तो ये है कि मैंने कांग्रेस को भी सुना और आरजेडी के मनोज झा जी ने भी बहुत सारी बातें कही. ये फ्लॉज को ढूंढने में ज्यादा एनर्जी अपना वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, उन कमियों को सामने लाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं जिससे एक बड़ी हार को ये टाल सके. दरअसल है क्या कि अगर कोरोना का डर है, कोरोना के संक्रमण को लेकर के तेजस्वी यादव जैसे लोग अगर गंभीर होते, तो मैंने आपको 3 इंस्टांसेस बताए जब वो पूरी भीड़ भाड़ के साथ लोगों के हुजूम के साथ पहुंचे और उन्होंने वो तमाम सेंटर और स्टेट के गाइडलाइंस को वायलेट किया, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग की धज्जियां वहां उड़ी और कोरोना को लेकर के जो लंबी चौड़ी किताबी बातें हैं उनकी, उसका सच भी लोगों को पता चल गया. अब इस गाइडलाइंस में जो भी एहतियात बरतने के संबंध में बातें कही गई है वो निश्चित तौर पर एक फ्री एंड फेयर इलेक्शन को पूरा कराए जाने के लिए काफी है. और जो 2 इलेक्शन कमीशन के इंपॉर्टेंट लोगों को आपने सुना, उन दोनों ने अपनी अपनी बातें कही और मैं कृष्णमूर्ति साहब को लंबे समय से सुनता रहा हूं, देखता रहा हूं और उन्होंने देश में कई चुनाव कराए. जो एक्सपीरियंसेस उनके हैं और देश में जो चुनाव को लेकर जो बातें कही जा रही है और दुनिया में कई जगहों पर जो चुनाव हुए, इन सबों पर काफी विस्तार के साथ उन्होंने भी जानकारी दी. लेकिन आरजेडी और कांग्रेस के नेताओं को सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग का प्रॉब्लम या कोरोना का जो डर है वो केवल चुनाव में दिखता है या पब्लिक प्लेसेस में, इस सवाल पर उनकी भूमिका ईमानदार क्यों नहीं दिखती है जब वो इस तरह के सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग के सवालों का उपहास उड़ाते हैं, लोगों को बोलते हैं इससे क्या होगा और भीड़ के साथ ये गांव में जा रहे हैं, सड़कों पर घूम रहे हैं, उस समय क्यों नहीं ये बताते हैं कि इससे खतरे हो सकते हैं. देखिए दरअसल बिल्कुल ही स्क्रिप्ट तैयार है, ये चाहते हैं, इनको एक बड़ी हार का एहसास है और पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज का ग्रासरूट पर अगर स्ट्रक्चर होता है तो लोगों के बीच क्या कुछ भी चल रहा है वो उनको पता होता है. उनको ये पता है कि तेजस्वी यादव की पार्टी का कोई भविष्य नहीं है और कांग्रेस का तो कोई जनाधार ही नहीं है. कांग्रेस को मैंने कहा एक हिंदी का शब्द है पुरातत्वावशेष और लुप्त प्राय प्राणी की स्थिति में कांग्रेस है. कांग्रेस के पैनलिस्ट बड़ी बड़ी बातें जरूर करते हैं,
ठीक है,
लेकिन इतिहास में दर्ज होने की ओर कांग्रेस बढ़ रही है.
राजीव रंजन जी,
राजीव रंजन जी मैं समझ रही हूँ आप क्या कह रहे हैं.
इलेक्शन नहीं चाहिए, चिराग पासवान बोल रहे हैं हम आप कांग्रेस और
तो
हमारे
आपके साथ अब तक जीतन राम मांझी जी थे, वो तो
कीजिए।
चुनाव चाहते थे। आपको चुनाव में यकीन नहीं है, और तेजस्वी यादव सीट शेयरिंग के मीटिंग्स कर रहे हैं, सीट शेयरिंग के लिए पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज के साथ उनकी बातचीत चल रही है। आपके नेता ऑन रिकॉर्ड कांग्रेस के लीडर्स सीट शेयरिंग को लेकर के, सुनिए एक साथ दोनों आदमी बोलेंगे, बात क्लियर नहीं होगी। ऐश्वर्या जी, पहले मैं एक सवाल आपसे पूछना चाहता हूँ।
चलिए
चुनाव
ठीक
के
है,
खिलाफ
ये
तो
जो
कांग्रेस
पॉलिटिकल
के
डिस्कशन
लीडर्स
है ये हम जरूर
सीट
करेंगे
शेयरिंग
कि
की बात
क्या
क्यों कर रहे हैं?
क्या कांग्रेस और आरजेडी इसलिए मना कर रहे हैं क्योंकि वो खुद तैयार नहीं है। बट मेरा जो मेन पॉइंट था वो मिस्टर शैलेश गांधी, टू यू ऑल्सो, how do you convince the voter to now step out and cast their vote, because all this while for the past 5 months we've been telling them to stay indoors, to stay away from others?
To some extent, there will be a drop in voting percentage. And one more thing I thought of while we were discussing and various people were bringing the issue, my view is that for those who are infected with COVID, to ask them to come to the polling station seems like a bad idea. Even in normal times, some people fall ill and are not able to vote. It's not as if everybody must be able to vote irrespective of whether they are ill or not. So those I suspect who are COVID infected should not be given a chance, because that, as you pointed out, you were pointing out, Tanvi, is a big risk. Apart from that, I still believe a meeting should be called of all political parties with the Election Commission. And if there is a consensus that it needs to be postponed by a month or two, that should be done. Or any other pitfalls also in the practical sense. And I think the Election Commission should make the effort of sitting down with people and talking to them. This is important, which probably has not happened from what the discussion was today.
All right, point well taken. And you know, I feel that this is just first of the conversations we're going to have in the run up to the Bihar elections. I highly doubt the elections will get postponed, but there will definitely be a lot of politics, a lot of planning, and a huge challenge, like Mr. Krishnamurthy said, a huge challenge for the Election Commission. And we'll have our panelists join us again to go into the details of it. Today was just round one, as the Election Commission has only issued the guidelines today. The few of the things that I believe will have to be looked into in a deeper manner is the option of COVID patients and COVID suspects to come to the polling station and cast their vote. How big a challenge will that be for us? How do we ensure that the others who are there at the polling station who are not, who've not been infected with COVID right now, are remain safe and don't contract the infection? How do we ensure it doesn't spread? If the postal ballot option is being given, can we extend the date for the postal ballot closer to the voting day and ensure that at least in that manner, those who are suspected or are actually patients don't step out? I understand the argument that yes, everybody has a right to vote and we cannot take it away from even a single person, so we must make arrangements possible for them. Maybe a separate polling booth. In US, this is the option that has been given, that if those who are suffering from COVID or are suspected to, then maybe they can come to a separate polling booth. And that is something that we can look at. There will be many other challenges. Implementation of the rules during rallies, during road shows, the local sabhas, during the door-to-door campaigning. Very important that this doesn't become an event that leads to a spike in cases. Completely out of time. Thank you so much to all of our panelists and our viewers for joining us on this round of conversation.